Hi, I'm your host Vasco Duarte. Welcome to the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast, where we share tips and tricks from Scrum Masters around the world. Every day, we bring you inspiring answers to important questions that all Scrum Masters face day after day. Hello everybody, welcome to our Wednesday, the Leading Change episode this week with Rafał Witaszek. Hey Rafał, welcome back.
Hey Vasco, thank you.
So Rafał, Wednesday is about, I think, exploring one of the key dynamics in our role, right? We're very often working with change. It's sometimes a team level, could be a personal level, or even an organizational level change. But we're very often dealing with this type of changes. So tell us a story of a change process you were involved with, and then walk us through how that story unfolded and highlight for us the tips, the tools, the techniques, the tricks you learned back then that you still apply today.
Yes, so the story is about bigger change. I was thinking because as a Scrum Master, we are always involved in some type of change. But when I look back at my career, that was, I think, the biggest with regards to organization change that I was involved in. So that was back plus 10 years from now when we had the transition into the Agile and Scrum. So during the time, perception of organization was the biggest bottleneck of organization is IT, how fast we can deliver products. So when we formed the Scrum teams and created our product backlog, we started working in the Scrum mode. And then it turns out that after 2 quarters, our product backlog is empty. So it turns out that actually the IT by itself, it's not a bottleneck. And knowing that we knew that there are many initiatives going on in organization, but none of this work was going to our product backlog. And as a result of that, we as a team, and during that time, the story is about the company, something between 300 and 400 people during that time. So we sent email to CEO of the organization explaining him our current situation, that we would like to work on something, but actually those products are not coming to us. And by doing this, we got invited by CEO of the organization for monthly meetings when we could have a conversation with CEO and our team. And through this collaboration and communication between us and him, we were able to address some of the problems and bottlenecks that were between him and us. I like his explanation. He said, I'm setting up the company as a Zeus sitting on the top of the mountains. And then when I look down the city that I created, it looks so beautiful. I like it. All the people that I'm communicating with, they're telling me great stories. But you are walking through the streets of the city and you see the problems, you see the challenges. And I would like to hear from you, how can I help you to remove those problems and challenges? And yes, through series of those meetings, we were really able to address some of the problems that we had. One of the things where we started, we created the roadmap for change. So we defined the current situation where we are and also the North Star where we would like to be. And having those 2 points, we created for each of the items that we have the very next step that could help us to move closer to the ideal situation where we would like to be. And in this process, there were many people involved. So we involved product owners, PMO, and also CEO of the organization. And through this process, really, it helped us to move faster the projects. We simplified the delivery process that was really too long, or many sign-offs that we have for the documentation. So things were getting definitely smoother because we bring all people together and we had focused conversation about the ongoing challenges that are not helping us out to deliver faster and quicker solutions to our end.
So there's one part in this story that I didn't hear, so I want to check whether that really happened as I understood it. So you talked about, hey, we saw a problem, right? Why we ran out of stuff to do. What is going on? Why aren't we getting the items into our backlog? And you talked to the CEO. Now, yeah, I think it's a great way to start a change, right? Talk to the CEO and say, hey, here's a problem. We don't know how to solve it, but let's work on it and let's try to solve it. not all CEOs would take this as a good sign, right? Some CEOs would say, who do I need to fire? And it sounded to me from this story that actually you ended up getting lucky that this CEO was actually more focused on getting people together and solving problems than figuring out who to fire. Now, I don't know if that's the case. That's what I heard. So how did it go? How did the CEO relate to this and react to this, let's call it, complaint that you brought to them?
Well, that's absolutely good point. So, as I mentioned, it was many, many years ago, last 10, 15 years ago in my career. And since then, to be honest, I never seen any organization that could deliver, for example, something like this could happen. So during that time, really, the organization that I worked, we had open and transparent communication. It was not blame culture, what is important. It was really, you could feel during the lunch, during the conversation with your colleagues that everyone wants to do a great job, but not everyone knows what to do, what is expected from him or her to deliver this great job. And then through our action that actually was embraced by CEO, as we had town halls when everyone could ask the questions to CEO, he embraced this. And he's like, whenever you have any challenges or problems, just go, come to my office. It's always open. And we knew that we are not hurting anybody by doing this, because I know that in some organization, it can be seen like you are going above the levels that you should reach. So first reach to me, and then I'll then communicate this further. But that was totally not the case. And many people at the end really were in better position, in better situation, as not everyone was 100% aware what is expected in the new organization when we start working Agile, what she can and should focus and deliver. And through this action, we help to create the alignment between the people and create better expectation.
Absolutely. That's a great point, and something that we must highlight is that as we present these ideas forward, even if it's the description of a problem, it's very important to take the conversation not towards blaming, but rather towards who do we need, right? Who do we see we need to collaborate with in order to solve the problem? A very common thing that I hear from CEOs when I do work with people at that level, they usually say, don't come with me with a problem without bringing at least 3 solutions I can choose from, right? And which is fair. Like I totally agree with that. But perhaps at that point, we shouldn't come with the solutions. We should come with, here's the people we need to work with to figure out what to do, right? And maybe we find out that these are the wrong people. We need other people. That's fine too. But I think also that as quickly as it is for some CEOs to use the blame game and fire someone, it is also very not as bad, but equally bad, but also bad, which is let's jump onto a solution immediately. When in fact, as you said, and illustrated in this story, what we need is time and the right people involved in order to figure out what they also want to do, how they want to be part of this change, right?
Exactly. So as I mentioned earlier, we are smarter together. So if we have all the people that are passionate about doing a great job, definitely together we can find better solutions for many things that sometimes we are struggling for weeks, months, or years. So bring them on, and together we are better.
Absolutely. That's a great way to finish this episode. We are smarter together. Thank you for that, Rafał.
Thank you, Vasco.
Leading change is one of the core skills we must acquire, but it is only one of the steps towards our success as Scrum Masters. Tomorrow, on Success Thursday, we will talk about how to define success for the Scrum Master role. We'll cover tips on how to measure your way to that position, and most importantly, how to develop that focus on continuous improvement that is as important for Scrum Masters as it is for teams. See you tomorrow. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.